Today I'm going to be talking about how to save up for travel and how to save up for your dream holiday or your dream trip around the world or to whichever country you so choose. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. So today, a travel related video. It's been a while and you've seen the title already, so you know what it is. I'm going to be talking about how to save up to travel. Right now, most of us are in our homes or just in our local areas exploring. Travel's kind of something that's off the cards for 2020 for most people, honestly speaking. Things are slightly getting back to normal, and in the UK especially we have the travel corridor where we've got places that you can go to in Europe and not have to quarantine, but that changes constantly when there are spikes in cases, so you might end up being in a city and ended up having to quarantine there. So yeah, travel's kind of off for a lot of people are avoiding it, but it doesn't mean that we can't plan for travel, especially with 2021 around the corner. Might as well start now. If you've got a holiday in mind that you've been wanting to do, a trip that you've been wanting to take, you want to backpack the world. I had a few friends who were actually were backpacking before everything happened and had to cut their trip short, so I'm assuming some of them will be going back to do that at some point. So I think it's important that we all learn to save. Today we're going to be talking about how to save money for traveling and the best tips I've used, the best tricks I've used to really save as much as possible so that I can take trips over the years. I've gotten better at saving for travel, and it's something I'm actively doing right now because there's 2 trips I want to take next year and before 2022. So like next year especially, there's 2 trips I really want to take and I'm hoping that I can take both of those. So I've started using all these to kind of help me get closer towards that goal, so fingers crossed. So I want to share with you how I've been doing that and ways that you can also save up for your trip. So the first thing to do is set clear goals. So you need to set clear goals. If you want to achieve something, there's no way for you to achieve it without having a goal in mind. So you really need to think about how much you need to save. So you need to have a number. There's no way for you to save if you don't have a goal in mind. You'll never reach it because you'll always find ways to put it off. But once you have a clear number and you can see your percentages go up, you can see you're getting closer to that goal, it's gonna help you so much more. So figure out how much you need for flights, how much you need for food, how much you need for accommodation, for fun. Counter all these things in. Look at flights in your prospective month. Look at how much it will cost you to buy flights. Look at how much accommodation is in the areas that you want to stay. There's blogs on the internet that will tell you how much food costs in a specific area. There are videos on YouTube you can watch to find out how much food costs in a specific area. Find out how much roughly you think it will be and find out roughly how much certain items cost in that country. Even look up restaurants near where you're planning to stay and just counter in the food aspect of that and any activities you want to do as well. So once you have that number, you've added all that up, you know how long you're going for, how much you're going to be spending. The next thing you need to do is create a travel fund. So create yourself a travel fund right now. Find, if you have a savings account and it has no money in it, switch that savings account name to travel fund or the name of wherever you're going. Or if you have an account that lets you save in pots, like in the UK we have a bank called Monzo, and they have pots where you can divide your money up and save into specific pot. It's not a savings account, it's literally just kind of a division of your actual bank account, and you have these pots that you can put money in to save towards. You can change all the names, you can change the pictures. It's very fun, it's very gamified, and I love that the gamification of saving in that aspect, but it doesn't affect your current account pot. So any money that's in the pots, you can't actually spend it unless you move the money back into your main pot in your main account. So that's a really great way of saving without accidentally dipping into and not having to open a savings account if you have an account like Monzo in the UK. So yeah, create a pot, name that pot the place that you want to go, and start saving into it. You can actually automate it. So with Monzo specifically, I don't have income going into there, but I've sent money there when I have income. So if you send the same amount, so say you have a salary and it comes in, you can set up that it will automatically divide the money and save into those pots. So I have multiple pots on my Monzo account. This isn't a sponsorship or anything at all. I don't even use Monzo at all really, I just use it to save. So I don't use it for my day-to-day banking. But yeah, you can split, you can automate when a payment like that comes through from this sender, this amount, it will automatically split the money into however much you want it to split into your pots that you choose it to split into. It's very cool, and I really like that feature. So now I just have it set up that when I send a certain amount over there, it automatically just gets divided up into the pots that I told it to divide it into based on whatever percentages I told it to do. So that's cool. So if you have something like that, you can do that. The next best thing is to automate your savings. If you know that you're really dedicated and you're gonna save towards this trip, then you need to come up with a set percentage that you can commit to. For example, you could say, I'm gonna put 5% of every piece of money I get, any income, any gifts, any money I get, I'm gonna put 5% of that into my travel fund. And then every time you receive money, 5% of it automatically goes straight to the travel fund before you even look at it. So that's one way of doing it. If you have a salary and you don't have pots or any account like that, you can set up a standing order. I don't know if it's what it's called in America or anywhere else, but in the UK it's a standing order. So you have it set up by yourself and you say, I want this much to go to this account every month. And you could do that. So you could set up, if you get paid bi-weekly or monthly, you can set up your account to send, especially if you get paid the same amount, you'll know how much that like 5% or 10% of your income is to go directly to that savings account for traveling. So that's a really good way of automating your savings and letting the money leave before you ever see it. So if you get paid on the first, that money goes out on the second, you look at your account on the third, and only then, you know, the money I have here I can spend if you don't have any other savings or any other goals that you're saving towards as well. Percentages, I'm a firm believer in percentages. I use percentages on everything that I do when I'm talking about saving. Ooh, what's this? Ghost light. Can I get rid of the ghost light? Nope. The ghost light is here. Okay, I'm back. I think I fixed the ghost light for now. It's still creeping in, but do you know what? We move, okay? I swear by percentages. I think they work way better than a set amount because a percentage will fluctuate depending on how much money there is rather than a set amount. If you make less one month, it could be really difficult to save a high amount. You know, just pick the base low number that you can stick to and you can be consistent with saving towards, and use a percentage. So like 10 or 15% of your income, depending on how aggressively you want to save towards this travel goal. Basically, with my budget, I have line items for everything I want to save. So before any of my money is my fun money, like it's already going to all these different places. I have a whole spreadsheet. I have a spreadsheet and it's like divided into percentages, and then every piece of my income has its own percentage. So I have the base percentages, so it's like savings and investments, and then home, and then I got other things. So those savings and investments, they go down another line and then they're divided into percentages again. So yeah, it works for me. It really works for me because I need to know exactly where every piece of money is going so I can really feel motivated to make sure I'm staying on top of my goals and that I'm getting the right amount into every place. So yeah, so you could do something like that. You could do a really simple form of that. If the only thing you're saving towards is your travel fund and towards this trip, then you could just do 10% or 15, 20% of my income goes directly to the travel fund. The end. Keep it simple. But yeah, I'm very complex with my finances and I have a lot of things that I'm saving towards, so it's just the way it is. Another thing you need to do is motivate yourself. A great way to motivate yourself is to change your device screens to your trip location. So your travel destination, your city of choice, the place you want to go, a place you really want to visit, or an activity you really want to do on your trip. And that will visually motivate you every day. So I've changed my background of my phone, the background of my laptop, all to the like place that I want to go. The place I want to go, by the way, is Bora Bora. So that's like a trip that I'm saving towards. It's really expensive. If any of you have ever been to Bora Bora or know of Bora Bora, you'll know it's expensive. But I've always wanted to go there, so I'm currently saving towards it. And if I find that I'm like, do you know what, it's really a lot, like, because it's hurting me to think about spending that much money on a trip, which is why I haven't done it, because I'm like, I have other things that are more important than going to Bora Bora. But if I do like get like halfway and I'm like, oof, man, I can't stomach spending this much money, then I'll just take a smaller trip. I have another place I really want to go as well, so then I'll have loads of money to spend at that location. So it's really a win-win. At the end of the day, if you don't end up taking a trip, you could always use the money for something else. So it would just go into one of my other saving pots that I need. So if I decide not to go to Bora Bora, it'll go into a different travel pot that I have for another location, and other places. So it's a great way to like motivate yourself. Change your screens right now. I've done it. All my screens are Bora Bora. Sometimes it's a little bit sad. I'm like, oh my god, Bora Bora, I want to be there. Yeah. So I can't even swim. I need to learn to swim before I go to Bora Bora, otherwise that will be the most expensive non-swimming trip of my whole life. And my final big tip is that you need to cut costs. If you want to save money, you just have to cut costs any way you can. Like if this is really what you want and you're like, I want to go to this place, this is my dream, you need to cut costs where you can. So like stop buying those coffees. If you have to move, I did it. If you have to move so you can save money, move. Keep looking, because I guarantee there's a place that is cheaper than your place that is probably just as good, maybe a little bit better. You'd be surprised. Like if you keep a lookout every month for a place to move to that is cheaper than the one you're currently at, then that money can just instantly go towards saving for travel. I find that cutting big costs it's not the easiest to do, but when you do it, it gives the best reward. So with me, I found that cutting my housing cost, I instantly was now able to save like an extra £200 a month. Hello? Say what? That's a really big addition to like my other savings, right? So really look at where you can cut, and you know, some things obviously you can't cut because you need them. Maybe you have business costs, maybe you have specific needs and specific things that make you so happy that you refuse to cut them. That's fine. Just look at other places you can cut back. So I use a budget, and every time I look at my budget, I know where I'm going wrong, because I'll see really high numbers and I'll see it's like minus blah 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 because I put this goal, and then now I'm over that goal and I shouldn't have used that much money on takeaway specifically. And I'm like, okay, it's time to cut back on the takeaway. And we've done that over the last few months. I have barely had any takeaway. Like we had a few celebratory takeaways for like our anniversary, for moving in here, other things, but not a lot. Like I used to have takeaway like 5 times a month, which is a lot. That's like once a week. And now we have it maybe once or twice a month, which is huge for us and huge for me. So cut back where you can, look at where you're spending the most money, try and cut back. And then you will see you'll have this extra money, and with that extra money, you're not gonna spend it, okay? You're gonna put it straight into your travel fund and hit your goal faster. Those are my tips for saving money for travel. If you have any tips yourself that you've used that are really good, please comment them down below and help other people who might be looking for more tips on how to save. I'd love extra tips. Oh my god, I'm always looking for tips on how to save money. I'm a budgeting queen. I love budgeting. I even have a budgeting spreadsheet. I've been meaning to make a video on budgeting on my other channel, so if I do, I will link it here when I finally do it, so you guys can learn how to budget and use that to your advantage to save for travel, which is what I do every month. Saving is actually really fun when you get into it, and when you see the money growing, like the pot's growing, you're like, wow, I'm so close. I'm getting closer to my goal. So I hope this was helpful. Please give this video a thumbs up if you had one thing in here that helped you or you found useful, and I will see you guys soon for another video. So take care, stay safe, annyeong. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's planning